Every phase in life has a beginning and an end. Whether it's a relationship, a job, a dream, or even a phase of personal growth, everything exists within a season. Recognizing when a chapter in life has reached its natural conclusion is one of the most challenging yet essential steps in personal growth. It requires us to confront our emotions, face reality, and summon the courage to move forward. Yet, it's only by allowing things to end that we can create space for new beginnings. The difficulty in recognizing an ending often stems from fear. We fear the unknown, the changes that may follow, and the emptiness that endings sometimes leave behind. There's comfort in the familiar even when it no longer serves us. Holding on feels safer than stepping into the uncertainty of what's next. But clinging to what has run its course can weigh us down, stifle our growth, and prevent us from embracing opportunities waiting ahead. Recognizing the end of a chapter is not about failure or giving up, it's about acknowledging reality and honoring the natural flow of life. Everything has its time. Seasons change, relationships evolve, and circumstances shift. By holding on too tightly to something that's meant to end, we risk missing the chance to experience the newness and beauty that could come next. Letting it end doesn't mean it didn't matter. It simply means its purpose in your life has been fulfilled. To let something end, we must first take an honest look at where we are. Self-reflection becomes crucial in this process. Are you holding on because it's truly serving you or because you're afraid of what life might look like without it? Are you staying in a situation out of genuine connection or out of habit and fear of change? These are difficult questions to ask, but they lead to clarity. When you take the time to examine your situation and listen to your inner voice, the truth becomes harder to ignore. There's a sense of liberation that comes with recognizing an ending. It's the first step toward reclaiming your energy, your focus, and your future. But it's not an easy step. It requires bravery to face the emotions that often accompany endings: grief, sadness, frustration, and even anger. These feelings are natural and valid. In fact, they're part of the process of coming to terms with what was and preparing for what will be. One of the most powerful aspects of letting something end is the opportunity to reflect on its impact. Endings allow us to look back with gratitude, even if the experience was painful. They invite us to appreciate what the chapter brought into our lives: lessons, growth, joy, or even the strength gained from overcoming challenges. By recognizing the value of the experience, we can let it end without resentment or regret. It becomes a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. Letting go of something that has ended isn't just about saying goodbye to the past, it's about saying hello to the future. When we allow something to conclude, we make room for the next chapter to begin. That next chapter may not reveal itself immediately, it may take time to discover what's next. But by closing one door, we signal to the universe that we're ready for the new opportunities waiting to unfold. Sometimes, endings require forgiveness, not just for others, but for ourselves. We must forgive ourselves for any perceived mistakes, regrets, or things left unsaid. We must accept that we did the best we could with what we knew at the time. Forgiveness is a crucial part of releasing the emotional weight of an ending and stepping into the lightness of what's ahead. In the end, recognizing when to let something end is a profound act of self-love. It's a declaration that you value your peace, your growth, and your future enough to move forward. It's not always easy, and it might not happen all at once. But with time, courage, and patience, you'll find that every ending carries within it the promise of a new beginning. And in that, there is hope, renewal, and the infinite possibility of what's yet to come. Pain is an inescapable part of life. When something ends, whether it's a relationship, a job, or a cherished dream, pain often follows. It's a raw, undeniable emotion that cuts deep and demands to be felt. And yet, in a world that often emphasizes avoiding discomfort and masking our struggles, the idea of truly allowing ourselves to feel pain can seem foreign or even frightening. But pain is not the enemy. It is a natural, necessary step in the process of healing and growth. To truly move forward, we must let it hurt. When we experience pain, it's a reflection of the things that matter most to us. Pain shows us where our hearts have been invested, where we've loved, hoped, and cared deeply. It is a sign of connection, meaning, and vulnerability. By trying to suppress or deny this pain, we risk dismissing the very experiences that shaped us. Pretending the hurt doesn't exist or numbing ourselves to its presence only postpones the inevitable reckoning. Pain demands acknowledgement, and when we give it that space, we allow ourselves to begin the healing journey. Allowing pain to exist doesn't mean we wallow in it or let it define us. It means creating room for it in our lives, even temporarily. It's sitting with it instead of running away. It's accepting that the hurt we feel is a valid response to loss or change. This act of acceptance can be one of the most liberating steps we take. Pain loses much of its power when we stop resisting it and instead meet it with openness. In those moments when the hurt feels overwhelming, it's important to remember that pain, like all emotions, is temporary. It ebbs and flows, and while it may feel unbearable at times, it will eventually soften. What remains is the growth that comes from facing it head on. By leaning into the discomfort, we develop resilience and strength. We learn about our capacity to endure and emerge stronger on the other side. Pain may feel like an ending, but it's often the beginning of a profound transformation. Another crucial aspect of letting it hurt is the ability to process and express the pain. Keeping feelings bottled up inside can lead to emotional stagnation, making it harder to move forward. Expressing pain, whether through talking to a trusted friend, journaling, creating art, or seeking therapy, gives it a voice. It allows us to release the tension within us and gain clarity about what we're experiencing. This process not only lightens the burden, but also helps us understand the deeper layers of our hurt and what it teaches us. Pain also serves as a guide. It reveals the areas of our lives that need attention, healing, or change. For example, the pain of a broken relationship might point to unmet needs or patterns we need to address. The pain of disappointment might highlight areas where we've set unrealistic expectations or need to practice self-compassion. By tuning into the messages that pain carries, we can use it as a tool for self-discovery and personal growth. It's important to approach pain with compassion, not just for the situation, but for ourselves. When we're hurting, it's easy to judge our emotions, to tell ourselves we should get over it or be stronger. But healing is not a linear process, and there's no timeline for how long pain should last. By treating ourselves with kindness and patience, we create a safe space to navigate the hurt without added pressure or guilt. Letting it hurt is also an act of courage. It takes bravery to face the rawness of pain and to allow ourselves to be vulnerable. In doing so, we open ourselves up to the possibility of growth, healing, and eventual peace. Pain may be uncomfortable, but it's also a testament to our capacity to feel deeply, to love fully, and to care about the things that matter most. Ultimately, pain is not something to be feared or avoided. It's a sign of life, connection, and meaning. By allowing ourselves to experience it, we honor the journey we're on and the lessons it brings. Let it hurt, because in the hurt lies the pathway to healing, strength, and a brighter tomorrow. In a world that often glorifies perfection and quick fixes, embracing authenticity can feel like an act of rebellion. When life becomes messy, complicated, or painful, there's a strong temptation to hide behind a facade of strength and control, pretending everything is fine even when it's not. But to truly heal, grow, and move forward, we must allow ourselves to be real. This means facing the truth of our emotions and circumstances, no matter how uncomfortable or inconvenient they might be. It's about living in alignment with reality rather than constructing a false version of it. Being real starts with honesty with yourself and with others. It requires you to take a step back and confront what you're truly feeling without judgment or denial. This can be one of the most difficult steps because it forces you to strip away layers of pretense and acknowledge your vulnerabilities. You might feel sadness, anger, disappointment, or confusion. Whatever those emotions are, they deserve to be recognized and felt. Ignoring or suppressing them doesn't make them disappear. It only delays the process of healing and can lead to a buildup of unresolved pain over time. Acknowledging your emotions doesn't mean you're weak. In fact, it's one of the bravest things you can do. It takes courage to admit that you're struggling, to look your pain in the face and say, "This is what I'm feeling." Society often equates vulnerability with fragility, but in truth, vulnerability is a sign of strength. It's a willingness to stand in your truth, no matter how raw or imperfect the truth may be. By allowing yourself to be real, you give yourself the space to heal authentically and to connect more deeply with the world around you. Being real also means letting go of the pressure to perform or meet unrealistic expectations. It's about releasing the need to appear as though you have everything under control, especially when you don't. Many of us feel an internalized need to maintain a polished image for fear of being judged or misunderstood. But the truth is, no one's life is perfect. Everyone faces struggles, setbacks, and moments of doubt. By pretending otherwise, we isolate ourselves from the shared humanity that connects us all. When you're real about your challenges, you create an opportunity for genuine connection and empathy with others. Another crucial aspect of being real is recognizing the difference between temporary feelings and lasting truths. For example, you might feel like a failure after a setback, but that doesn't mean you are one. Being real means sitting with those feelings, acknowledging their presence, but not letting them define you. It's about seeing the situation for what it is without exaggeration or minimization. By staying grounded in reality, you can address challenges more effectively and find solutions that align with your values and goals. Living authentically also involves setting boundaries and prioritizing your well-being. When you're real about what you need, you're better equipped to advocate for yourself. Whether that means saying no to things that drain your energy, seeking support when you're overwhelmed, or stepping away from situations that no longer serve you, being honest about your limits is an essential part of taking care of yourself. Authenticity isn't just about facing the hard truths, it's also about honoring your worth and protecting your peace. It's important to remember that being real doesn't mean dwelling endlessly on your struggles or airing every detail of your personal life. Instead, it's about finding a balance between transparency and discretion. Share your truth with those who can support you and be selective about what and with whom you choose to share. Authenticity is not about oversharing, it's about aligning your external actions and expressions with your internal reality. When you allow yourself to be real, you give yourself permission to heal, grow, and thrive in a way that's uniquely yours. Pretending to be okay when you're not only prolongs the healing process and adds unnecessary layers of stress, by facing your emotions and circumstances honestly, you free yourself from the burden of pretending and pave the way for genuine growth. Being real is liberating. It allows you to break free from societal pressures and expectations and instead live in alignment with your own truth. It creates deeper, more meaningful connections with others because people are drawn to authenticity. Most importantly, it sets the stage for lasting change and growth because you're addressing life as it is, not as you wish it to be. In the end, being real is not just a step toward healing, it's a path to freedom, empowerment, and a more authentic, fulfilling life. Life is filled with experiences that shape us, challenge us, and teach us valuable lessons. Some of these experiences bring joy, while others come with pain and disappointment. As difficult as they might be, these moments often hold profound insights if we allow ourselves to reflect on them. Learning from the experience is a crucial step in the journey of growth, and it transforms even the most painful events into opportunities for self-discovery and understanding. Every experience, whether positive or negative, carries with it a lesson. These lessons may not be immediately clear, especially when emotions are still raw or the wounds are fresh. However, with time and reflection, patterns and truths begin to emerge. A failed relationship might teach us about the importance of communication or self-worth. A professional setback might reveal where our true passions lie or highlight skills we need to develop. Even the loss of something deeply cherished can show us the fragility of life and the need to treasure what we have while we have it. To learn from an experience, we must first approach it with an open mind. This means resisting the urge to assign blame, whether to ourselves or others, and instead asking honest questions. What happened? Why did it happen? What role did I play in this? What could I have done differently? These questions are not meant to criticize or judge, but to uncover insights that can guide us moving forward. Self-reflection is not about dwelling on the past, but about gaining clarity to make better choices in the future. One of the most powerful tools for learning from an experience is the ability to shift perspective. When we're in the midst of a challenging moment, it's easy to focus on the pain or frustration. But stepping back and viewing the situation from a broader perspective can change how we perceive it. Instead of seeing it as a failure, we can see it as a lesson in resilience. Instead of viewing it as a loss, we can see it as an opportunity to grow stronger. This doesn't minimize the difficulty of the experience, but it helps reframe it as something meaningful rather than purely negative. Part of learning from an experience also involves accepting responsibility for our own actions and choices. It's tempting to place blame solely on external circumstances or other people, but true growth requires looking inward. What could I have done differently? Where did I let my fears or assumptions guide my decisions? Accepting responsibility doesn't mean taking all the blame, but it does mean acknowledging our role and understanding how we can grow from it. This kind of accountability is empowering because it reminds us that we have the ability to make different choices in the future. Equally important is the ability to forgive both others and ourselves. Holding on to anger, resentment, or guilt only keeps us tied to the past, making it harder to learn and move forward. Forgiveness doesn't mean condoning what happened or forgetting it entirely. It means releasing the hold that the experience has over us. It's about finding peace and allowing ourselves to grow beyond the pain. Learning from an experience also requires patience. Insights don't always come immediately, and healing is rarely a straight path. It's okay to take time to process what has happened and to revisit the experience as needed. The lessons we draw from a situation might evolve over time as we gain more perspective and understanding. What seems like a setback today might reveal itself as a blessing in disguise years down the road. Finally, it's important to take what we've learned and put it into action. Learning without application doesn't lead to growth. If an experience taught you the importance of setting boundaries, practice saying no when necessary. If it showed you the value of gratitude, make it a habit to appreciate the small joys in your life. By incorporating these lessons into your daily actions, you honor the experience and ensure that it has a lasting positive impact. Ultimately, every experience, no matter how challenging, has something to teach us if we're willing to learn. It's not about erasing the pain or pretending it didn't happen. It's about finding meaning within it and using that meaning to grow. By learning from the experience, we transform it from something that happened to us into something that serves us. It becomes a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block, a source of strength rather than a source of regret. In this way, even the most difficult moments can lead us toward a brighter and more fulfilling future. Letting go of what you cannot control is one of the most liberating yet challenging acts a person can undertake. In life, there are countless situations that fall outside the boundaries of our influence, other people's actions, unexpected circumstances, the passage of time, or outcomes that don't align with our hopes. Yet we often find ourselves clinging to these things, wishing we could bend them to our will. This attachment can lead to frustration, anxiety, and a sense of helplessness. The key to inner peace lies in recognizing what is beyond our control and learning to release it. Letting go begins with acceptance. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up or resigning to a fate you don't desire. It means acknowledging the reality of a situation as it is without trying to force it to conform to your expectations. This can be difficult, especially when we are emotionally invested in a particular outcome. Perhaps a relationship isn't working despite our best efforts, or a career opportunity didn't pan out the way we hoped. In these moments, the instinct may be to fight harder, to push against the current, hoping we can change what is already set in motion. But true peace comes when we stop resisting reality and embrace it for what it is. One of the reasons we struggle to let go is the illusion of control. We often believe that if we just try harder, plan better, or hold on tighter, we can steer events in the direction we desire. While effort and intention are important, there is a limit to how much we can influence the world around us. People have their own free will, and life is full of unpredictable variables. Recognizing these limits is not a sign of defeat, it is a sign of wisdom. It is understanding that there is a difference between what you can change and what you must simply accept. Letting go also involves releasing the emotional weight that comes with trying to control the uncontrollable. This weight often manifests as fear, anger, or resentment. For example, when someone hurts us, we may cling to the hope that they will apologize or change their behavior. But waiting for that moment, something entirely out of our control, only prolongs our suffering. By letting go of the need for external validation or closure, we free ourselves from the grip of those emotions. Forgiveness in this context is not about excusing someone else's actions, it's about reclaiming your peace and moving forward. Another aspect of letting go is learning to trust in yourself, in the process of life, and in the idea that things unfold as they are meant to. This doesn't mean everything will always go as you hope, but it does mean that even when things don't go according to plan, there's an opportunity for growth, learning, and eventual renewal. Trusting the process allows you to shift your focus away from what you can't control and toward what you can. It empowers you to take meaningful action in areas where you do have influence rather than wasting energy on areas where you don't. Practicing mindfulness can be a powerful tool in letting go. When you focus on the present moment, you reduce the tendency to ruminate on the past or worry about the future, both of which are often beyond your control. Mindfulness encourages you to experience life as it unfolds, to appreciate what is within your reach today, and to release what lies outside of it. It teaches you that peace comes not from controlling your surroundings, but from managing your inner state. Letting go doesn't happen all at once. It's a process that requires patience, self-awareness, and compassion. You might find yourself revisiting old wounds or struggling to release deeply ingrained attachments. That's okay. Growth takes time, and each step you take toward letting go is a step toward greater freedom and peace. Celebrate the small victories along the way, the moments when you choose to release resentment, let go of unrealistic expectations, or stop worrying about things you cannot change. Ultimately, letting go is an act of self care and self respect. It's about choosing to prioritize your well being over the need to control everything around you. By releasing what you cannot control, you create space in your life for new opportunities, experiences, and joys. You free yourself to focus on what truly matters: your growth, your relationships, and your inner peace. In letting go, you reclaim your power and take a meaningful step toward living a life of balance and fulfillment. Moving forward is an essential part of life, yet it is often one of the most difficult steps to take, especially after experiencing loss, failure, or significant change. Life is filled with moments that can leave us feeling stuck, moments where the past seems to hold us captive and the future feels uncertain. But moving forward is not about forgetting what happened or pretending it didn't affect us. It's about finding the strength to take the next step despite the pain, fear, or doubt that lingers. It's about embracing the possibility of growth and renewal even in the face of adversity. The first step in moving forward is acknowledging where you are. It's important to be honest about your feelings and the impact of the situation. Denial or avoidance might provide temporary relief, but they prevent true progress. Recognizing your emotions, whether it's sadness, anger, disappointment, or even relief, creates the foundation for healing. This acknowledgement is not a sign of weakness. It's a testament to your willingness to confront reality and take responsibility for your journey. By naming and facing your emotions, you create space for them to be processed and eventually released. Moving forward also requires a shift in perspective. It's natural to replay past events in your mind, wondering what you could have done differently or wishing things had turned out another way. But dwelling on what cannot be changed only keeps you tethered to the past. Instead, try to view the situation as a chapter in your story, not the entire book. Every experience, no matter how painful, contributes to your growth and shapes who you are. By focusing on what you've learned and how you can apply those lessons, you transform the experience into a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. Another essential component of moving forward is self-compassion. It's easy to be hard on yourself, especially if you feel responsible for what happened. You might replay your mistakes or feel ashamed of your choices, but self-criticism only deepens the wounds and makes it harder to heal. Instead, treat yourself with kindness and understanding. Remind yourself that you are human, that mistakes are part of the journey, and that growth often comes through trial and error. Self-compassion doesn't excuse poor decisions, but it creates the conditions for learning and improvement. Forgiveness is another powerful tool for moving forward. This doesn't mean condoning hurtful actions or forgetting what happened, but it does mean releasing the grip of resentment, anger, or bitterness. Forgiveness is not about the other person, it's about freeing yourself from the emotional chains that hold you back. Similarly, forgiving yourself for past mistakes is just as important. By letting go of the guilt or regret, you create space for renewal and growth. Taking actionable steps is crucial in the process of moving forward. Once you've acknowledged your feelings and gained perspective, it's time to focus on what's next. This might involve setting new goals, exploring new opportunities, or rebuilding relationships. The key is to take one step at a time. Progress doesn't have to be monumental. Even small actions like journaling your thoughts, reaching out to a friend, or trying something new can be transformative. The act of moving, however small, signals to yourself that you are ready to embrace the future. Moving forward also involves embracing uncertainty. The future is never fully predictable, and this can be both intimidating and exhilarating. Rather than fearing the unknown, view it as an opportunity for growth and discovery. Life's unpredictability is what makes it rich and dynamic. By approaching the future with curiosity rather than fear, you open yourself up to new experiences, connections, and possibilities. Resilience plays a key role in moving forward. Challenges and setbacks are inevitable, but they don't have to define you. Each time you choose to move forward, even in the face of difficulty, you build strength and confidence in your ability to navigate life's ups and downs. Your resilience is not about avoiding hardship, it's about learning how to bounce back and keep going. Finally, moving forward is an act of hope. It's a declaration that your life is not defined by a single moment, event, or relationship. It's a commitment to yourself to keep growing, learning, and striving toward a brighter future. While the past shapes us, it does not have to confine us. By moving forward, you honor the experiences that brought you to this point while embracing the infinite possibilities that lie ahead. It's not always easy, but it's always worth it.